Hello there, Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and another card making video. Today I am showcasing the Glimmer Hot Foil set for the month of October. It is the Crimson Fall Glimmer Hot Foil plate set. It is a box that comes to your house every month, and every month you'll get a different hot foil set along with a foil. So this, like I said, is the Crimson Fall set for October 2020, and I thought it would be fun to use over some gel press prints. So I went through all my random backgrounds, I picked out some that I thought would be fun for fall, and I actually will use two of those that I showed you right there with this polished brass foil. And what I'm doing here is creating a hinge and putting my foil so that it is, the pretty side is facing the plate, and I'm using a hinge so that that will stay in place. I'm going to put that with the plate down onto my ready and hot Glimmer Hot Foil plate. I'll press the timer and put the plates on top. When the timer goes off, I run it through my die cutting machine and then put it back onto the Glimmer Hot Foil dock. Then I can remove the plate and the foil, and you can see the leaves pressed in and foiled onto my background. Now, a gel press print is done with acrylic paint, so it is somewhat of a textured background. So sometimes when using my gel press prints and hot foiling, there will be spots that don't foil perfectly, and I'm okay with that. So here I'm removing that second piece of purple tape because it covered up part of my hot foiling that I already did. And if I were to leave that there, when I remove the tape later, it could remove some of the shininess of the foil. So I like to make sure my purple tape is never touching something that's foiled. So now let's take a look at this piece once both sides are foiled, and you can see how this new plate foils a complete frame onto your background. It's amazing. Here is my second gel press background that I'm going to Glimmer Hot Foil with the same plate, this time using some Tangerine foil because I thought it looked great with the colors in this background paper. I will do both sides once again. Now this panel is already cut down to 5 1/4 by 4, so my plate is going to overlap in the center on both sides a little bit, but I don't mind that look at all. If you have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of paper, it will only overlap a teensy bit on the sides. So it's up to you what look you want to go for, and maybe you just trim down your paper later if you want that border around your card front. So now I did Happy Fall Y'all, one of the sentiments from that set, in copper foil, and now I am using the Hello Pumpkin plate and that same brass foil for my sentiment on here. So I'm leaving a little room at the bottom of the sentiment in that opening so that I can add some stamped images to complete these cards. Hello Pumpkin, that was it. All right, so for the stamping, I am using the Happy Harvest stamp set from Fun Stamper's Journey, which is also available at the Spellbinder shop. I use some black COPIC friendly ink and then some Hazelnut blend for my sunflower so that it would have a really cool brown center. Now for the coloring, I am using COPIC markers. I started out with E11 on his face, and then for my darker shade I used E13, and then I just go back and forth between the two colors to get the blend that I would like. For his overalls, I wanted a blue pair, so my lightest color here is going to be B24. Now for this, I'm going to color in the entire set of overalls with this lightest color. I want them to have kind of a really dark shadowy area, so therefore I'm going to go ahead and color all of it in. The darkest color now that I'm bringing in is E39. I like to go from my lightest to my darkest and then bring in my mid-tone to add that shadow in, and my mid-tone is B28 in this case. And once I darken out that shadow, I can blend it all together with my lightest color, again being B24. Now I will come back to this later just to soften out those lines between the two. Sometimes you just have to add a second layer, and I actually do that quite a bit to get that graduated look that I like between the three different colors. So I'm coloring in his patch with some E markers, which will be the same colors I use on his hat. So you'll see those again in just a minute. For the shirt, I'm starting with Y15 as my lightest color, then adding in my darkest with Y17, putting a shadow there under his scarf, and then blending that out with Y08. And then you can see I did go back and forth with the other two markers again just to blend that out a little bit better. And some E25 for the lines on his plaid shirt. Now here I'm using E25 for my lightest color on my hat, E47 as my darkest color on the hat, and E27 for my mid-tone to blend that out. And then I had a little smear there, or smudge, so I took my colorless blender and kind of pushed that out of the way on his hat band. For my lightest color, I'm using YR02 on my scarf, and this will be the same orange that I use on all of the coloring today, anything that's orange. My darkest being YR16. No, my darkest is YR07, and my mid-tone is YR16. And I'll just go back and forth between those a little bit to get that nice smooth blend. I'll use that on the pumpkin and some leaves as well. All right, so now for the straw for my scarecrow, I am using some YR17. That's the darkest color I used on his shirt. I'm going to go over that with E13, and this really gives me a golden yellow that I want. Not such a bright golden yellow, but a little bit more brown in it. Then I'm using that E47 for the scarecrow stick, and then one more time over with my lightest blue color to soften out the blend on his overalls. All right, so then for the sunflower, I'm going to use the same exact yellow markers. I'm bringing in my mid-tone and my darkest yellow, and then I'll bring in the E13. So I'm not introducing any new colors, just maybe a little bit different combination. Very similar to how I colored the straw on that scarecrow. And I was able to color over the top of that hazelnut blend without it smearing. Hazelnut blend is one of the colors sold at the Spellbinder shop, and it is a fusion ink. So it has dye-based ink and pigment ink in it. And like I said, I was able to Copic color with it. So that was a really good find. All right, now for the pumpkin and the leaves, I'm using the same exact colors that I used on his scarf to color those out, but I thought you might like to see me color this pumpkin, and I will use this pumpkin 2 more times for the second card today, but I don't show the coloring of that because I'm showing it here, and it's the same exact process, just with some different colors. And then I will color in the stem on the pumpkin with my E25 marker to finish that out. Just adding some more dark shadows on that to finish it up. Now this particular stamp set does not have a die set that coordinates with it, so I'm going to use my Pick Scan mat that goes with my Cameo silhouette. You take a picture of this mat, you load it into the software, and you're able to trace your stamped images and cut them out. So that's what I did. And then I'm going to stick those images down on my card. The acorns that I colored actually end up going on the inside of this card. I didn't use them on the outside. But there are the images there. Some of them, the smaller ones, I did go ahead and pop up with some foam squares. And then I'll glue that down to a yellow card base and add some rainbow drops. I'm going to use a mix of the orange and pink rainbow drops here and my Journey Glaze to stick them down because it's clear and it has a very firm hold, which I totally want for this card. But I love the way it turned out with that gel press background. I love mixing the gel press and Glimmer Hot Foil. I love to use different textures in my cards. And also the paint on my gel press prints is matte. The foil is shiny, so I've got different textures and different looks going on. I love mixing them together. So I popped up my pumpkins and adding some more rainbow drops to finish off this second card. I only used the orange drops on this one. It just seemed to be what worked best. And then the same yellow cardstock, which is Summer Days, for the background for this card front. And to finish them off, I decided they needed some white highlights, so I brought in my Jelly Roll pen to go ahead and add those, and it just helps bring them to life. Super cute. I love that scarecrow. He is so cute. And the fall colors are so much fun to play with. I even love the addition of the pink on that pumpkin card. So that finishes up my 2 cards featuring the Crimson Fall Glimmer Hot Foil set. I love getting the hot foil set of the month. I just really enjoy adding foil into what I already love to make. I think it's a nice surprise, and they always have such great sets that they send me. So I will link the Glimmer Hot Foil of the Month kit down in the description box below. Also, I believe when you purchase the Glimmer Hot Foil set of the month, you can get a discount on the Glimmer Hot Foil machine. So those of you that have been putting off getting it, that might be a good way for you to go ahead and take the plunge. And I will also link the other club kits that Spellbinders has to offer in case you want to check them out. They have dies, card kits, lots of fun things. I thank you so much for stopping by and visiting with me today, and happy stamping. Bye!